Good day, beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. If you're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. You found good in abundance because you've chosen consciously, conscientiously to tune into Eye on Las Vegas with your humble host, Barry Shore, the ambassador of joy. Notice I didn't say the ambassador of joy. The ambassador of joy. You tuned into the show for one reason only. It's the best reason in the whole world, because you care the most in the entire world about you. Y-O-U. And that's great, because when you become the best you make the world a better place. You build more bridges of harmony, create more joy, happiness, peace, and love in the world. Now, I moved here to Henderson, Nevada, right outside of Las Vegas, about 5 years ago. Whenever I mention these two words, Las Vegas, people lean in, open up their eyes and ears, and say, tell me more. That's why we built this podcast, along with our joy of living. We have, thank God, over 500,000 people that are listening every week from all over the world, because everybody's interested in Las Vegas. And wait till you're going to meet a man who embodies some of the energy and the uplift and the higher frequency of Las Vegas. His name is Isaiah. How appropriate is that? He's a prophetic being. Now, before we bring on wonderful Isaiah, I just want to make mention of something fascinating about this place. If you take the entire population of New York City, everybody around it, the entire population of Chicago, everybody around it, the entire population of Los Angeles, everybody around it, and you add in the entire population of the state of Florida, it doesn't equal the number of people that come to Las Vegas in a year. 41 plus million people come here. Why? Sex and gambling? Oh, that's a small part. Energy, entertainment, uplift, higher frequency. And there's nobody that I know that embodies it better and more than wonderful, fabulous Isaiah. Isaiah, please say hello to 521,917 people around the world.
Hi there. I hope everyone's having a blessed and grateful day.
Well, they are, and you're helping it make it even better. So those of you who are privileged to be watching, you're seeing this angelic being. And if you're only listening to his voice, you can hear it come through, because he is a prophetic being, as I said. We're going to talk about several different things, and I really want to discuss the future of downtown Las Vegas. However, I want to begin with something that touches me personally and most everybody that's watching or listening, and that is your vision of what we call the wellness economy. What is the wellness economy? I mean, I think obviously I know what the words mean. I want to hear from you, Isaiah. What is it, and how are you moving it forward?
Well, the wellness economy is a multi-trillion-dollar economy, and it encompasses how people individually and collectively are looking at spirituality, physical fitness, nutrition, and their mental well-being. Obviously, coming out of COVID, people's thought process on health as it applied to their own body and their mind had changed. We were in a loneliness epidemic. People had lost faith in different systems of medicine. And, from my perspective, I always say that there's the ancestral side of things in culture as the medicine, and then there's the modern. And we're at a point now where science can merge the two. So when we look at the wellness economy, it's people moving away from possessions and looking to experiences as way as daily living, and using their disposable income to partake in that, whether it's residences, retreats, peptides is a rage now, right? Regenerative medicine, all these different things. That being said, I always want to caveat with this. Wellness should appeal to all socioeconomic levels. What does that mean? It means that you should be able to get up, get out of bed, and without spending a dime, focus on your wellness. It's great that there's all these other economic pillars now that are going to provide health, healing, and business for us, but people need to also take control of their own health.
So let's begin with that in mind. Wellness economy, the first two letters are W-E, we. When you understand that you are part of the we, and that you contribute to the benefit of the world by being healthier, happier, and by extension, wealthier, because that's really what health is. It's the ultimate wealth. I think you'll agree with that. And I love what you do with higher frequencies, because you just put into a wonderful capsule that anybody can ingest, utilize, and leverage. And that is make sure that your thoughts, your words, and your deeds are in harmony. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think, in my studies, being Jewish, also studying Hinduism, Kriya Yoga, and other philosophies of thought, the book really got boiled down to on the platform, which was originally started as a cannabis brand. But what it really got boiled down to was a philosophy encompassing all this. And what is that? It's understanding that your senses are your relationship with the external world and that you have to have discipline over them. And the pillars of the discipline function over spirituality, physical fitness, nutrition, and your relationship with others. And then the tools, how do we do that? We do that with non attachment, letting go, meditation, prayer, faith, trust, and surrender. So through this process, we reestablish our connection with divine consciousness. And we still have our relationship with what many would call the mundane world, the external world. But we know that the frequency within us is the only thing we have assurance over. The connectivity to source, God, Hashem, Christ consciousness, whatever name you want to give it, it is the one thing we have. Some people call it love, right? What's love? Love is the understanding that you're divine consciousness and you can share it without the want of reciprocity. Too many people are looking for a give and take in life. And that's where I think a lot of people end up in depression and anxiety.
So I'm a very big proponent of LSD. Everybody hear that? Barry is a big proponent of LSD. Well, what does Barry say LSD? LSD is what I consider the ultimate regenerative medicine. Stands for laughter, smiling, dancing. That's the
all things that connect you to divinity. Yes.
Yeah, that's the ultimate psychedelic. Laughter. Yeah. I urge people, one of the things I do, I've been privileged to work with people for almost 60 years now. And people come to me and, on paper, they look great. And then I speak to them, I realize that we're talking about a shift in perspective and they tend to drop the F in shift and the other stuff happens. Got to be careful with the F's, keep it in place, shift your perspective. And part of it is because the people are not doing this every day.
Of course.
I literally teach people how to laugh out loud every day. Smile, because SMILE is an acronym. It stands for seeing miracles in life every day. And dance. Make sure that your movement is dancing. Would you agree with all that, Isaiah?
I would. I think what you're really talking about, and you mentioned LSD and a little bit of a jab there about the psychedelic space, which I'm also involved in. All the psychedelics do is return you back to your breath, right? The goal is to be able to get back to breath without the psychedelics. Now, sometimes people need a kick in their ass, and I do believe that psychedelic medicine, if properly used, would collapse the SSRI market and anti-anxiety market. But that being said, if you look at, Stanley Grof, who was a famous psychotherapist from the 60s, very big proponent of LSD, but when it went illegal, he created holotropic breathwork. And what is that? It just returns us to our breath to connect to divine source. So if you think about laughing, what is that exactly doing? It's actually hyperventilating yourself to return you back to your breath. So I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Okay, I like him because it's wholeheartedly. That's with a W in front of it, not a hole in your heart, but wholehearted.
No.
And I would want to mention something that is also part of what I do when I do webinars and discussions with people. I talk about there's two things that I always mention that's very important. One of them is to learn how to blab. Now, Barry, people say, Barry, you're very good at blabbing. Well, let me tell you what blab stands for, and then you can wax eloquent on this, Isaiah. Blab stands for breathe like a baby.
Correct.
Because babies do what adults tend not to do unless you do it consciously. We tend to breathe up here in the lungs, where really what you want to do is what Isaiah is talking about, is what we call deep diaphragmatic breathing. Now, Correct. The only issue with that is, Isaiah, is that I polled people. 97.2% of all the people I ever poll can't spell diaphragm, and they don't know where it is. So I call it tummy breathing. Would you talk about tummy breathing or diaphragmatic breathing?
I think there is a number of, and I've been doing yoga for almost 15, 20 years now. And breath is really yoga is just a flow to connect you to your breath. But I think what you're referring to is just the art of breathing in general. And there's different exercises people could do, box breathing, right? 4 count in, hold, breathe out, 4 count, right? It's 444, 666, 888. It just allows you to reconnect and understand and calm your central nervous system. People talk about the vagus nerve and all these things. So, it's really just, once again, reconnecting you, grounding you. You hear a lot of these words, but I think you explained it eloquently in returning people that it's breathing from the diaphragm. I think most people lose their breath though, because, and I discussed this in the book, is there is these 3 archetypes I believe that most people live in: the victim that lives in their trauma, the survivor that wears their trauma as a badge of honor, and the warrior who truly understands that everything that comes at them, no matter which way, is neither positive or negative. It's just a lesson from divinity to allow them to move forward towards their soul's correction. The more you become the more warrior, the more you are connected to your breath.
I love Isaiah. One of the reasons I am so humbled and honored that he's here is for this gem that he just handed everybody. You choose what I call the 6 most important words you'll ever internalize, utilize, and leverage in your life. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. How you choose to respond in any given situation will determine your path in life and your trajectory. Let's talk in the couple of minutes before we go to our break. Talk to us about being a warrior, because that is who you are.
I think, I wasn't always a warrior. I think a lot of people are in survival mode from a financial perspective or things like this, but that doesn't mean not being a warrior. A warrior means that you live with non-attachment, you let go, you have faith and trust, and you surrender to the flow of life. Doesn't mean you're passive, but let's break that down. Non-attachment means that people, places, things, possessions, when divinity wants them to be in my life, they're here. When they start causing me pain and suffering, I let them go, right? Meaning that if I can't afford to have the watch or the apartment or the possession, it's not necessary for it to be in my life. If this relationship no longer serves me or is not giving me positivity, I practice non-attachment. I think where most people don't become the warrior is in the letting go aspect, right? David Hawkins did a lot of research and study on this. It's the idea that we constantly play these old things over in our head rather than taking the lesson from them, and we re-injure ourselves emotionally on a daily basis. And I think a lot of this has to do with people not understanding meditation and prayer and not really understanding the concepts of faith and trust. Now, in our Judaism, which I don't really feel is a religion, I feel it's a mysticism, we talk about faith and trust as amuna and betachin. The idea that there's a greater energy and that I trust everything that shows up in my life is for my soul's correction. But that's applicable to all the major philosophies, ideologies, right? People have this woe's me attitude, the victim mentality. Why did this happen for me? It's irrelevant. You are born into your situation, your religion, your color, your station, your socioeconomic, because that's where your energy is at in its cycle in this lifetime. And the warrior recognizes that, whether they're the janitor, whether they're not in a good socioeconomic state, whether they're the president, no matter where you are, the warrior recognizes that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm going to take the lessons and I'm going to show up with love for everyone, including myself.
Isaiah, he embodies his name, one of the greatest prophets that ever walked the earth, giving forth joy, happiness, peace, and love. And we have sponsors that love our show. We wouldn't have them on if we didn't think they're worthy of your time and attention. We'll be right back with more of this remarkable being, the warrior Isaiah. Do not go away.
Hey, quick pause. If something you just heard made you stop and think, don't let that moment pass. Because that shift, that awareness, is the doorway to real joy. Barry Shore has put together a free ebook with simple, powerful strategies to help you live in joy every day. Go to barryshore.com and download your free copy now, because one small shift can change everything.
Good day. Beautiful, bountiful, beloved, immortal beings, and good-looking people. You're good-looking, so always looking for and finding the good. We found good in abundance. Our cup runneth over with good. His name is Isaiah, and he's been sharing with us what we'll call HF, higher frequencies, discussing the different aspects of who you are and how you can become and should live as a warrior. Because when you do that, you're not only helping yourself, You're shifting the energy of the planet into good. Is that fair to say, Isaiah?
Absolutely. We're
Thank
all
you.
part of one energy, so any movement you take is for either the greater good or the greater bad.
Thank you. That's the positive aspect of higher frequency. Well, we live in this remarkable environment called Las Vegas.
We do.
And it is truly a remarkable place in the sense that it is one of the most known, noteworthy places on the planet. I mean, you can name,
Correct.
okay, New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Bangladesh, whatever you want to call it. Las Vegas, right up there. Everybody opens up their eyes, their ears, and leans in. Let's talk about what's happening here, because this is a place of, it's the entertainment capital of the world, becoming the sports capital of the world. It's a place where entrepreneurs are really doing what they do best, which is creating benefit for all. So let's talk about what you're doing in the world of helping downtown Las Vegas become really an oasis.
Amazing. Yeah, when I came back to town, I had a stem cell company, a tourism company in Colombia, the country. I had created partnership marketing in my previous time here for Las Vegas Sands. And when I looked at downtown and what was going on in Vegas, I soon realized that we were lacking a major metropolitan area, a smart city, and wellness. And more importantly, you hit on this, between the free independent traveler, the business traveler, the reality that we're driving distance from Zion, from Joshua Tree, from all of these great places. People still need to live in urban environments, but we weren't taking cues from like the arts district in Miami or Midtown Miami or Austin. And when Tony Hsieh passed away from Zappos, the 108 acres that sits on Fremont east of the Strip really just was let go. And what I saw there was the ability to create a sustainable smart city that catered to the digital nomad, that catered to the new sports and entertainment people that were coming into town, people who wanted a walkable downtown, who didn't want cars. And I found myself in conversations about what the development might look like and what that might entail. The connectivity to the government, the connectivity to the university, how technology such as AI and cybersecurity can move out of there. And I began the process of putting plans together for multiple buildings and to doing a capital raise to buy the land. And there's a lot more to it than that, but that sort of was the initial thought
Let's
process.
start with that. So Isaiah mentioned the name. His name is Tony Hsieh. It's spelled HSE. And you can
Correct.
look it up. He was the founder of a remarkably interesting and quite successful e-commerce company that was acquired by Amazon years and years ago. It's called Zappos. What a great name. And he was a fascinating fellow. And he wrote a book about happiness. Unfortunately, he didn't embody what he wrote about. He had some trauma and things took over his life. However, he was a visionary, real visionary. As you said, he acquired 108 acres in downtown Las Vegas. That's a large amount of land. Now,
About 65. I when I looked at it, said there was about 100.
okay, so let's call it 65 acres. Hello, is still a lot of space.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, the question is it being looked at to revive and build, or is it
The
going to?
problem. So the problem is there's about and Tony also acquired some of the arts district, which, like, for example, the arts district's already at 500 a square foot. The medical district, which touches this area, is at 400 plus, and then you have Fremont East, where the casinos are sub 5. Now, this area is still depressed. It's the city owns a piece of the land. Tony's family still owns a piece of land. The problem is that in order to put forth a strategy like the one I'm speaking of, you need someone to do the assemblage and work part and parcel with the state government, the local government, the university, and private investors to say, hey, we have a real opportunity here. People want to live in a wellness environment, and most people have to live in an urban community. Bake on top of that all of these sports team and the entertainment industry that's coming here from California have all of the support staff that need somewhere to live. One last caveat is the federal government owns a lot of land in Las Vegas. So we can only build out so far, meaning that developers are putting single family tract homes. People are getting further and further away from the epicenter. So this really the last piece of land that we can really look at going vertical and creating this model city that can be put in Dubai and anywhere else where there's economic issues or economic prosperity is Las Vegas. And the last aspect of that is we have what I would say is one of the greatest international ease of use airports in the country. We have a regional airport that's not in use about 10 minutes up the strip on Las Vegas Boulevard. So it really creates a model for the development of how an inner city can function in a wellness experience, and we can do it all in a condensed space. But it's not going to happen if they piecemeal it and little developments go up here and here. Someone's got to come in and knock the whole thing out.
So just as almost any particular situation, it needs to be a champion, a warrior champion who not only sees the vision, can attract people who want to build on the vision and make what you just said. Las Vegas is literally at the epicenter of so many different modalities, from Joshua Tree and Zion, and you can go all the way to Sedona and Grand Canyon. The energy's here. And by the way, water is going to become plentiful. I'm making a prediction. I'm not the prophet.
I think there was just a ruling last week with the Colorado River that allows us to have more access because some other states are diverting.
Yeah, water will be plentiful at some point because there are so many people working on processes that literally you can bring water from the air. I mean, we are in the age of discovery. We've
spoken to one of those firms.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. There is so much happening when people talk about AI. So I've got to tell you, Isaiah, my definition of AI is always improving. That's real AI, always improving. Las Vegas is uniquely situated to be, as you said so eloquently, this epicenter of goodness, of wellness, of attraction for people who really want to do well by doing good. And we can become that, so that the taint of, gambling, sex, that's always going to be there because those are things that part of the human condition. Hello. However, the building upon that energy, which built this place from literally sand on the ground into one of the great cities of the world, and now with this vision of wellness put into it, it becomes an attraction as good or better than Dubai or Singapore.
I think so.
Or many other places, because we do have so much sunshine.
Yeah, I think the lady Las Vegas, she always reinvents herself. And let's not beat around the bush. We're all business people. The Rockefellers were bootleggers. Major cities are generally built on illicit activities because that's the quickest way to acquire wealth in those situations. So it is what it is, right? That being said, look, in all the great scriptures, Moses went into the desert, right? Like, we're in the desert here. Great things come out of the desert. Great epiphanies come out of the desert. We have this beauty of red rocks here. And I just feel like, every time I try to walk away from the conversation and I feel like, I'm having a difficult time raising the capital or this, something reminds me that this is the place, this is where my journey is, and this is where the story is collectively.
So this brings me, I created an acronym for your name before the show, and I think you're articulating it so well. May I share it with you?
I would love that.
Isaiah, ISAIAH. Ready? Inspiring success awakens internal attitudinal high.
I love it. Love it. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that.
That's what we're doing here. I mean, if you ask somebody to talk about a place called Dubai 20 years ago, you say, well, you scratch your head. I think I've heard of it. And now, of course, Dubai is there. And it's not just because of the money. Okay, money is a necessary ingredient to build and build and build, to become an attraction. Well, we are here in the greatest country in the history of the world. As you said beautifully, a desert is a place where things can bloom. Israel is the perfect example. You take a desert landscape and you make it bloom. You know, drip irrigation, there's so much here. There's mining that goes on here. So the energies that are here physically in the tangible sand, or you can touch it, and in the air and in the people, it is the perfect place to become, in the next 20 years, the crown jewel of the Southwest. The crown jewel of the Southwest.
I agree. And I think, it's also a great place because of the heat and what's going on to look at, as you look at what SpaceX doing, it's a great place to understand how we might colonize other areas in other places as well, right? It's why Elon has the Boring Company here and he's boring tunnels, because it's a great place to test out concepts in a very intense environment, but a loving environment.
So you said nicely about Austin as another place. So Austin is really building itself as a place of education, alternative education. And I am of the, not just the opinion, because I know a number of people who were, one of them was the president of UNLV. UNLV, and there are a number of other schools here, by the way, in Las Vegas area. This is a place of great education. People have the different modalities.
Since I've started this, we've actually been in conversations. I was in conversations with the former CFO of UNLV. We have someone who's I've been talking to, who might eventually be on our team, who had worked for the Pentagon and had also been the dean of a major university. And the concept is for him to write grants, us work with UNLV, and then deploy the student body in the project to develop technologies that we co-own with the university. Like I said, around AI, cybersecurity, sustainability, but really make the university's brand logo a part of the experience and heighten its notoriety globally.
UNLV, for those who don't know, is moving up the ranks, as it were, as one of the great centers of learning. Notice I didn't just say education, of learning, and it's touching in a medical school. I mean, just so many different modalities. And there are a number of, well, especially one large community college here, and different colleges to teach radiology and all kinds of other services, again, in the wellness space. Because again, we have so much sunshine. Okay, does it get hot sometimes? Well, hello, we're in the desert. You know something? I just read quickly, and then we're going to have to wrap up. Europeans are coming here right now. I don't usually like to date our shows because people will be watching this 100 years from now. But this is 2026, just on the eve of the 250th anniversary of the United States of America. So the World Cup is being hosted here. So people from all over the world are coming to the United States and marveling what we call abundance. Well, they call it abundance. We call it American way of life. 20% of people in Europe, only 20% of people in Europe have air conditioning in their homes. In the United States of America, it's upwards of 95%.
It's a big problem with the heat wave in Spain and France right now.
Yes, people die in those situations. Not here where we are. We understand how to utilize, leverage, internalize, and benefit everybody, not a select few, everybody. Isaiah, I'm loath to say the words I'm about to say. We're coming to a close in our time together today. I have 3 quick questions for you. You ready?
Please.
Number 1, will you come back again?
Of course.
Thank you. Number 2, Isaiah, you have only 80 seconds to answer this question. What is your most fervent desire?
My most fervent desire is to be an agent of change for people physically, spiritually, emotionally, build things that are lasting, that help people refine who they are internally, connect them to divine consciousness, and provide for my friends and family in a manner where they don't have to worry about things financially, emotionally, or spiritually. I don't need 80 seconds.
Great. Thank you. And number 3, may I give you a hug in front of 500,904 people around the world. Let me tell you what hug stands for. Heartfelt, unlimited giving. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Barry.
Listening
It
to
was felt and received.
Vegas with your host Barry Shaw, the ambassador of joy, wonderful, amazing Isaiah Orland, and he is the founder of Higher Frequencies, and he's a warrior, and you've learned so much today. And I just want to make mention again, this show's not about Isaiah, great guy that he is, Barry Shaw, fabulous, it's about you, Y-O-U, you becoming the best you. So we want you to share this with 5 people. You want to share it with 50 or 100? Great. At least 5 people that you really care about. Actually, 4 people you care about, 1 you don't even like, and then share it with us. We can touch 2.5 million people around the world. And a blessing from Isaiah and Barry. Go forth, live exuberantly, spread the seeds of joy, happiness, peace, and love. Go mad. Go make a difference. Isaiah, don't go away.